The camera light blinked red, and Sarah's hand froze on the doorknob. One more second, she told herself, and she'd be gone. The apartment was dark except for the blue glow of the television, frozen on a cartoon princess mid-song. Mia stood in the hallway behind her, clutching a stuffed giraffe whose neck had been sewn back on 3 times. The little girl's eyes weren't on her mother. They were on the kitchen table, where a single plate sat under the weak overhead bulb. On it, 2 slices of pepperoni pizza, still steaming. Sarah's stomach clenched. She hadn't eaten since yesterday's stale crackers. She'd packed nothing but clothes, a toothbrush, and the last $20 in her purse. The plan was simple: slip out at 9 p.m., catch the 1 a.m. bus, and never look back. No note. No fight. Just quiet. But Mia, 5 years old and wide awake from a nightmare, had followed her to the door. And now she was staring at that plate like it held the answer to every question she'd never asked. Sarah whispered, "Baby, come on." Mia didn't move. The plate belonged to Jake. He was supposed to be asleep on the couch, passed out after another 12-hour shift at the warehouse. But the couch was empty. The bathroom door creaked open behind them. Jake stepped out in his boxers, hair wild, eyes bloodshot. He saw Sarah's backpack. He saw the open door. He saw Mia staring at his dinner. For a moment, nobody spoke. The only sound was the cartoon princess singing about courage. Jake's voice came out rough. "You were gonna take her without saying goodbye?" Sarah's throat closed. "I was gonna keep her safe." "Safe from what?" "Me?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The bruise on her wrist from last week was still yellow. Mia tugged Sarah's sleeve. "Mommy, the pizza's gonna get cold." Jake looked down at his daughter like he was seeing her for the first time in months. "It's okay, kiddo. You hungry?" Mia nodded, solemn. Sarah stepped between them. "We're leaving." Jake didn't block the door. He just looked at the plate, then at Mia, then at Sarah. "1 slice," he said. "Let her eat 1 slice. Then you go." Sarah wanted to scream. She wanted to run. But Mia was already walking toward the table, giraffe dragging on the floor. The little girl climbed into the chair, reached for a slice, and took a bite. Cheese stretched like a lifeline. She chewed slowly, eyes closed, like it was the best thing she'd ever tasted. Jake leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "I ordered it for her," he said quietly. "Figured she'd wake up hungry." "You never keep anything in the fridge." Sarah's voice cracked. "You never keep anything in the bank." He flinched. "I'm trying." "You're always trying. And I'm always waiting." Mia looked up. "Daddy, why are you sad?" Jake opened his mouth, closed it. Sarah saw the moment he decided not to lie. "Because I messed up, Peanut." Mia considered this. "Can you fix it?" He laughed, a broken sound. "Working on it." Sarah's hand slipped off the doorknob. She didn't know why. Maybe it was the way Mia said, "Fix it," like it was the simplest thing in the world. Maybe it was the way Jake's shoulders sagged, like the fight had already gone out of him. Or maybe it was the pizza, stupid, greasy, perfect pizza, sitting there like a truce. She sat down across from Mia. Jake stayed standing. The silence stretched, thick and awkward, until Mia pushed the second slice toward her mother. "You eat too, Mommy. You're skinny." Sarah took the slice. It burned her fingers. She bit into it anyway. The pepperoni was spicy, the crust chewy, the cheese real. She hadn't tasted anything this good in years. Jake spoke first. "I start the new job Monday. Day shift. Benefits. They're holding the spot." Sarah chewed slowly. "You said that last time." I know. But this time I showed up to the interview sober. She looked at him. Really looked. The bags under his eyes weren't just from the night shift. They were from guilt. From staying up after she fell asleep, scrolling job boards on his cracked phone. From selling his Xbox to pay the electric bill. From crying in the shower so Mia wouldn't hear. Mia finished her slice and licked her fingers. Can we stay till the princess movie ends? Sarah's heart cracked open. Baby, we have to. Please. Mia's eyes were huge. Just till the song. Jake moved to the couch, picked up the remote. He didn't sit. He just held it out to Sarah like a peace offering. She took it. The cartoon resumed. The princess sang about a new world. Mia crawled into Sarah's lap, warm and heavy. Jake stayed by the wall, watching them like he was afraid to get too close. Halfway through the song, Mia fell asleep. Sarah carried her to the bedroom, tucked her in with the giraffe. When she came back, Jake was at the sink, washing the plate. One plate. One fork. One glass. Like he was practicing for a life where there was enough. Sarah leaned in the doorway. What happens if you mess up again? He didn't turn around. Then you leave. And I don't stop you. And Mia? He set the plate in the drying rack. I'll send money. I'll visit. I'll be whatever she needs me to be. Even if it's just the guy who brings pizza on Fridays. Sarah's eyes burned. I don't want her to grow up visiting her dad in a parking lot. I don't want her to grow up scared of him in her own home. They stood there, the hum of the refrigerator between them. Finally, Sarah said, 1 month. Jake turned. What? 1 month. You keep the job. You go to the meetings. You don't raise your voice. You don't touch the bottle. 1 month, and we try. If you slip, we're gone. No second chances. He nodded so hard his neck cracked. 1 month. The next morning, Sarah unpacked the backpack. Not all of it. Just the essentials. She left the $20 on the table, next to Jake's work boots. He came home at 3, with a grocery bag, milk, eggs, bread, and a frozen pizza. He held it up like a trophy. Buy one, get one free. Mia squealed and ran to him. He lifted her high, spinning her until she laughed so hard she hiccuped. The first week was hell. Jake came home exhausted, snapping at the smallest things. Sarah bit her tongue until it bled. Mia drew pictures of pizza with smiley faces. On day 10, Jake forgot his lunch. Sarah drove it to the warehouse, saw him on the loading dock, sleeves rolled up, laughing with a coworker. He waved like a kid. She waved back. Day 14, the electric bill came. Short by $40. Jake came home with a wad of crumpled tips from the guys at work. They heard about the new job. Said to keep it up. Sarah cried in the bathroom so he wouldn't see. Day 21, Mia had a fever. Jake carried her to the clinic in the rain, no umbrella. Sarah held the insurance card he'd laminated himself. The doctor said it was just a virus, but Jake sat in the plastic chair all night, holding Mia's hand while she slept. Sarah watched him from the doorway and felt something shift. Not trust. Not yet. But possibility. Day 28, Jake's boss called. Promotion. Lead loader. Raise. He told Sarah over dinner, spaghetti from a jar, but he'd added fresh basil from the windowsill plant Mia watered every day. Sarah smiled for the first time in months. A real smile. Day 30, Sarah woke up to the smell of coffee. Jake was at the table, filling out paperwork for Mia's kindergarten registration. He looked up. I did it. She sat across from him. I know. He slid a small box across the table. Inside, a silver necklace with a tiny pizza slice charm. For the month, he said. And the next one. And the one after that. Sarah laughed through tears. Mia ran in, still in pajamas, and climbed into Jake's lap. Daddy, can we have pizza tonight? He looked at Sarah. She nodded. Extra cheese, she said. That night, they ate on the couch, the three of them tangled together under one blanket. The cartoon princess was on again. Mia fell asleep first. Jake carried her to bed. When he came back, Sarah was at the sink, washing the plates. 3 plates. 3 forks. 3 glasses. He stood behind her, not touching. Thank you, he whispered. For what? For not leaving quietly. She turned off the water. I almost did. But you didn't. No, she said. I didn't. The camera light blinked off. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the soft snores from Mia's room. Sarah hung the dish towel to dry. Jake took her hand. They stood there in the dark, 2 people who'd almost lost everything over a plate of pizza. Outside, the bus stop sign glowed under the streetlight. Empty. Waiting. But inside, the table was set for breakfast. And for the first time in years, Sarah wasn't afraid to sit down at it. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories about second chances, quiet courage, and the kind of love that shows up with pizza and stays for the dishes. Turn on notifications, you never know when the next slice of hope is coming. See you in the next one.